We have just come to the conclusion of the 5th African Union Executive Council Retreat on Agenda 2063, which was held in Kigali in Rwanda. And I have an opportunity to engage with the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation South Africa, Dr. Naledi Pandor. Welcome to Ubuntu Radio.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. What is the significance of this gathering, especially looking at the key challenges that the continent is facing?
Well, I think that the meeting was very important because it offered an opportunity for the continent to give greater attention to the review of the first 10-year implementation plan. We've had a decade of Agenda 2063, and we're focused on the priorities of Africa's agenda. So this meeting was directed at reviewing, at considering the review report, but also preparing for the second 10-year implementation plan. So really saying, what are the lessons that we have learned and what should we do, having recognized some of the challenges that confronted us. The review report is a thorough analysis drawing on member states' practice, and so provides, I think, a very good foundation for a clear assessment of where we are as we craft the second 10-year implementation plan.
Of course, when we review and take key lessons, we now take them forward to the second 10-year implementation plan. What are the priorities that have been put forward for the second 10-year implementation plan?
There are quite a number of priorities. As you know, Agenda 2063 is a long-term program for the African continent to build the Africa we want. So one of the key issues that emerged was that we haven't fully built the institutional capacity to implement development programs in all countries on the continent. And so a number were lagging behind, even to the degree that they were not able to provide reports on how they have implemented various aspects of the program. So we discussed, and the beauty of the retreat is that you are able to have detailed deliberations on a matter. So what we discussed is what is necessary in order to support those who might be facing very, very strong challenges to really make the progress we need. And we've said we've got to enhance the institutional capacity of the African Union, but also country capacity, both to plan and monitor. So a strong outcome is planning and monitoring. The second is many countries didn't have the financial resources to be able to implement the plans as required. So we've said stronger resource mobilization, greater attention to countries that are not able to secure the necessary resources. And so using the African Union and African development finance institutions as a backup to ensure that where there aren't resources, they are able to step in and provide assistance. Then thirdly, we also recognize that without economic growth on the continent, we're not going to generate the resources that we need. And so emphasis was on key productive sectors and a need for greater attention to them. One is, of course, the natural resources of Africa, which we tend to export crude and import as value-added products. We've said we want value addition on the continent because we've got to create industrial capacity and manufacturing ability in Africa in order to generate more jobs, products from Africa that earn us greater income. So the issue of finance was very, very clear. Thirdly is the human resource capacity. To be able to track what we're doing, you need to gather statistics. You need to have analysts who actually tell you where you are. If you're going to have universal education, you need quality teachers. So the whole human resource domain was recognized as extremely important. And I think the fourth, as I said, institutional capacity. But here I want to mention that we do have specific sections within the African Union that are responsible for development programs, such as Auda NEPAD, which is housed in South Africa. We agreed that it needs much larger resourcing as well as greater human capacity in order to be a strong support for African countries as they proceed to implement Agenda 2063. So those are some of the areas. And then the more generally known areas such as agriculture, where we should be much stronger. We shouldn't be talking about food insecurity. In Africa, we have enough arable land. Many countries have sufficient water. So we should be using those attributes in a much more quality-oriented fashion. So we did discuss really enhancing agricultural resources. The reports indicate many of our people don't have access to electricity. We have got the problem of outages in South Africa, but other countries are far worse in terms of energy access. We've got to ensure that we have sufficient energy to support especially our industrial ambitions, because if you don't have energy, you really won't be able to be productive. So we address the energy, management of water resources. We have a large coast territory as African countries. So the ocean economy is extremely important. We talk about it a lot, but we haven't yet fully exploited it. And matters of the green economy as well. So as we expand energy, we're not saying use more fossil fuels. We're saying use renewables, use cleaner energy sources. All of these were touched upon in the meeting, and they really form the broad agenda of areas to be addressed by the African continent.
Minister, let me thank you for making time to speak to us.
Thank you.